everyone. It's 4:44 p.m. and Graceful Reflections is live. Vandana, we're on.
Yeah, I'll be right there. You do realize, yeah, that a woman's work is never done.
No rest for the wicked.
Really?
So welcome to Seeds of Thought, our live chat part 2. And this one is all about the influence and the impact of our emotional drivers. So keep this role play in mind and we'll break it down for you in a bit.
That's right. Yeah, we will let you all know what was at play here.
So let's start with the understanding of our emotional drivers. And our emotional drivers are also known as
influencers, motivators, needs. There are so many words that actually describe or define this particular concept.
So by a simple definition, our emotional drivers are the core feelings that influence our life in thought, what we think about, the words that we speak, and our actions, of course.
So we seek to fulfill all our needs, all our drivers, all our motivators. But you know what, Tony? Some are more stronger needs for us, and that motivates us or influences all our actions and motivates us to make certain decisions.
Right, and then those naturally play out a lot more and effectively or otherwise.
Yeah, you see the presence of it in almost everything of your in what you're doing in life. So should we start listing and sharing with our audience the different emotional drivers? But before everything else, we're really happy to have you all with us on this second live of Graceful Reflections.
And it's also Easter, so happy Easter to everyone. I wish you all the very best in life.
Great. Okay, so let's begin, Tony, by listing out the different emotional needs, drivers. I'm going to call it drivers.
Great. Because they are drivers, they are influencers, they are human needs as well. So as we touched upon in the last Seeds of Thought episode, there are 6 emotional needs, emotional drivers, emotional influencers. And although this is in no particular order, we're just going through it. So the first one we're talking about is certainty and our need for certainty. So our need for certainty and stability of the basic needs, physiological needs in life, like the air that we breathe, the food, our drink, shelter, clothing, warmth, sex, and sleep. These are all basic needs. And punctuality, routine, our emotional security, our financial security, these are all important needs to fulfill as well. And we do, as we progress in life, we do want to see that, there is this certainty about these elements. Now, if we can't control these physical circumstances or the environment around us, what do? We tend to seek this kind of stability through a state of mind, like, having a totally positive outlook on life, and sometimes it can reflect as faith-based lifestyle as well.
Actually, that is very profound when you are able to find stability of the mind and have stability in your spirit, in your soul. I think that wins the race because you're not trying to control life. And then we have on the flip side of certainty is uncertainty. Now, this one can be quite a trickster. Why? Because we like the person who really leans into uncertainty wants to shake things up, likes a little bit of spice and variety in their lives. Don't be naughty, Tony. And they almost thrive on risk and change, consistently wanting another change. They hate monotony. Now, it would be great if all our physiological needs, like the one Tony is also referring to, are taken care of. And on a serious note, if we are feeling very stable in our financial areas of life and our needs, our physical needs are all taken care of, And then we seek a bit of uncertainty and variety. That's a healthy way. But what happens when our needs are not fulfilled, but we are seeking risk? So generally this shows up in, say, relationships, or constantly moving from one job to the other, are just not satiated with anything in life. When something starts becoming easy and stable, we shake things up and we go and want to do something else. So yeah, that's a big human driver that can be quite challenging too. And if we put all this aside, because this is if our physiological needs are very human needs, um, if from a soul perspective, the person is really seeking a shift because they perhaps have not arrived at a complete fulfillment of who they are. That's another way to look at it.
Yeah, in my thinking though, I do believe that the people who are total risk takers are not in such large numbers as the rest of the world that doesn't need the stability or the certainty of life.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So,
and then the next one?
And the next one, again, is another emotional driver, another emotional need of the personality, and that's significance. And as the word significance suggests, it's the need to see, to feel, and to recognize our own value.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah. And this need to feel special in our own eyes or in the eyes of others. And it comes across very strongly, although we might not consciously realize it or think about it. And in children and the adolescents or the teenage group, significance shows up as a need to have a voice, to be heard, to be respected, to have a reputation, that I'm so cool kind of significance factor.
And I mean, we're all guilty of certain choices we made when we were at that stage of our lives, when we wanted to just be cool and to blend into our peer group and be the important one in the peer group. Not that I'm going to share any of that today, but yeah.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure that we've all had our share of the need to have a reputation, the need to be significant.
Significant, yes.
Yeah. So when we feel insignificant, what do? We could use our ego, or we could have a superior attitude coming into play, or anger, or we even play the victim to get others to recognize us and, perhaps feel sorry for us, to make us feel significant in that way. And it's quite a paradox, really, because we gain our significance from trying to be insignificant.
Yeah, I think the significance one really needs to be explored in depth because it has so many layers. But let's list out all the others, and then we'll perhaps get more understanding of why specifically significance can be quite profound in how it shows up in our in fulfillment of our needs.
Yeah. So how are you all doing so far? I hope you are getting the hang of the emotional drivers. And if you'll have any comments or any feedback or any questions, do put it down for us.
Yeah, bring it on so that we can, have a nice discussion over the live around this very, very interesting concept. Okay, and then the next human driver is love and connection. Now, as humans, this is a very strong need. We want to be loved and we want to feel connected to everything, to within ourselves. Firstly, actually, it should be, but also with family, friends, with community, with the country, basically, and the world also. So we want to feel that sense of belonging and love and connection with everything we do. Usually, it is observed when this driver is a very important one, it shows up as these people who are very big givers. They give a lot of love. And I think all of us meet such people around in our lives, in our community, in our family. There's that one person in the family who's constantly giving. And the underlying need for them is to be feeling that love and connection. And in fact, I think this is a conditioning that is set quite early in childhood. So as parents, we tend to provide that love and connection to the children. But when we don't receive that, perhaps in return, we may go into that emotional blackmail. Oh, but I love you. Why would you do that? And so the child becomes quite conditioned to that thought process that, oh, when I do this, I receive more love and connection. When I'm doing this, I'm not. And so we probably set a not a very healthy conditioning there.
Right. So there is pretty much of a downside to love and connection, this emotional need of ours being very, very dominant in our psyche. And it can, in terms of how we condition our children's thinking and their thought process as well. We teach them how to use these emotional drivers to get what they want.
Like with everything else, there is that negative, positive, but we'll talk more about that in a bit. Let's first finish listing out all the drivers. So the next one is, Tony?
So then the next two drivers are the emotional needs of the spirit. And we talk about growth. So as the universe grows, we should be growing as well. And if we're not growing, we're stagnating or we're going backwards. Because of the pace at which the university is universe.
The universe is our university.
yeah, it's a small world, isn't it? So this sense of growth and achievement for us makes us feel like we're accomplishing what we want in life, and it's our individual capacity that then starts to expand. Our spiritual growth tends to expand as well.
Exactly. And so it's a very healthy thing to want that growth mindset, in other words.
It is.
Yeah, to constantly grow. That's how I see it is when I used to observe my parents in their older years, like, in their 70s and 80s. I felt like they were evolving with us and with their grandchildren. So that was like a growth mindset, constantly growing. And then the other one that you mentioned, the contribution. We want to contribute, of course, to our own welfare, towards our growth. And when we feel that we are able to do that, we're able to offer that, make that contribution to our family, to our friends, community, and so on and so forth. And so this becomes a huge contribution or a huge factor for spiritual development, I feel, because we have the capacity to give also and help others grow with us and contribute towards their growth.
Yeah, so before you carry on, I just want to ask a question, and however you all feel about it, if you all have any response or feedback for us, do share. So I'm pretty sure that there are people who are not too concerned about their own growth, and they're happy where they are. Is that wrong or is that bad?
I think, again, there is two sides to everything. And so how I see people is, if they don't feel they need to grow more, it's because they have a certain sense of feeling content within themselves. But then I find that those people are very happy to contribute.
Right.
So they may feel that they've reached a good state of mind and they feel like I have a lot of wisdom or something to share. And so they want to contribute whatever they have achieved. Now, we would love to ask the audience, do you feel a sense of growth and contribution within the driver behind Graceful Reflections, what Tony and me share? So whatever we have learned in the process of this growth, we want to share through Graceful Reflections, which the tagline being finding spirituality in everyday experiences. So this is what we gleaned from our past experiences, that spirituality, or what we mean as consciousness, when it is there at every stage of our lives or every moment of our day, that's when we are able to maintain a high vibration and frequency of ourselves and show up in our lives in a balanced state of mind.
Right. And there was a comment about the downside and keeping in terms of, how the world is progressing. We will answer that question as we move along.
Yeah.
So does this spirituality and Ayurvedic experiences does it reflect in the chakra system?
It does. Oh my God. Yeah. Thank you so much, Tony, for reminding me of that. Absolutely. The human needs actually reflect beautifully on the chakra system also. Again, a huge conversation that we need to perhaps dive into on another chat. But there is a direct correlation in it also. And
Right.
how I like to refer to is when people, when you start your day, you ground, center, and protect yourself. You fine tune your vibration. I call it reassessing each day why am I doing what I'm doing. And so it's a reminder of your human needs, that this is the reason why I'm showing up each day doing what I'm doing.
Right. And of course, in the greater scheme of things, our life purpose can be derived from the why of all our emotional drivers.
Yeah, yeah. And in our workshop, where we go deeper into these emotional needs and drivers, we also cover the aspect of identities, because the identities get shaped around the human needs, the personal identity, as well as the universal identity, what you're referring to as the purpose. So it's quite a very in-depth understanding, but trust me, once you arrive at that understanding, once there is a self-awareness about it, you really have a mindful presence through life, which is a gift that you give to yourself and to everybody around you.
Right. Okay. So that covered the emotional drivers, and we're going to summarize this for you. But I also, before we went into the summary, I just wanted to know, how has it been for you? How have you understood this? And do you have any questions about the emotional drivers? And for those who have been following the role play snippets that have been coming through, what do you think about the emotional drivers that were at play?
Yeah, so the role play that was, of course, we briefly played out right at the start of this live, as well as the role play that we've been sharing on our Instagram stories over the last 5 to 6 days, a little bit of a free feeder into it. We would love to know if you have been able to identify which emotional driver was at play for Honey, the husband, and the rolling eyes wife. Do let us know while we try to summarize in the most effective way this emotional drivers for you before we will also, and then we will love to do another role play. So we really want you to give us your perspectives on this.
And yeah, sorry, not to interrupt or anything, but for those of you who actually went into the poll and made your choice, of course, Honey got only one vote, and that was my own vote. And I've got to say, my feelings have been terribly hurt.
Don't worry, my dear Honey.
I need a lot of love and connection as a consequence.
Absolutely. Don't worry. I will give you lots of love and connection time. So let's highlight one area which I feel we've been mentioning, but let's put it in some simpler terms, maybe, that when the emotional drivers are not fulfilled, it can spill over into our interactions, pretty much what was going on in the role play, as a little negatively, a little victimized, a little edgy, yeah? I think some have actually identified as significance being one of the human needs. And clearly, it was the rolling eyes who needed lots of significance at the start of today's live. And what was the human driver for the wife on the live? Sorry, on the stories.
Well, on the stories, the wife's human driver was one of growth, was one of a little bit of change of a routine, so uncertainty, so to speak, a different kind of contribution to the family dynamic as well, and yeah. So those who had said significance and contribution and all, you've got it.
Yes, absolutely. Well done, you. Right. Okay.
Let's summarize.
Yeah, go for it.
Right. So our emotional drivers influence why we are driven to take or to avoid certain actions. And these emotional drivers can be fulfilled by negative action or by positive action. And we need to be clear about our understanding of the situation and our own thoughts and our own feelings to mitigate our emotional drivers coming out in a negative manner. We touched upon that. It's this need for a clear awareness of ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that mindful presence. If it's not there, or if a need is not fulfilled, it is going to spill over onto bless the family or in what we are doing. So, to give an example, if someone's emotional human driver of certainty is not being fulfilled, yeah, that is, stability is not there. The negative side of it could be that the person leans over more material possessions, wants to keep things for themselves, doesn't believe in sharing too much, okay, or constantly feels that there is not enough. The other example that really works well, we've been talking about it, the love and connection. The person can become, when the love and connections not come through their interactions, then they can become needy and a little bit clingy. There was a hint of that in Honey, right? Because he was a bit clingy. He didn't want his wife to be stepping out and doing work. You know, he wanted the stability, but he also wanted love and connection from her because he knew that if she's going to add new elements to her life, she'll have less time for him.
And
okay, so these are some of the areas that it can become quite evident when you're so. Therefore, self-awareness, observing your inner dialogue can help. So that's what I like to do, and not saying that my human drivers sometimes don't lean on to the negative side, but if I land up showing it in my interaction, either at home or outside, that means it's a sign to me that I need to sit and see where I can fulfill that need for myself and not demand it out of the world.
And we did briefly mention it in episode 1 when we said it's important for us to think about what you're thinking as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we?
We have some time. We can do it.
Yeah, some cards. Yeah. So we got energy cards right in front of us, and we thought it would be great to pick up some cards. But do you want? Yeah, let's do that first. Or what do you want to do?
I think we do the cards first,
and then we'll wrap up with another role play.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to pick up a card when the emotional drivers are in balance, and Tony, you pick up something when they are not in balance and they are leaning towards a negative side. Okay. So
it seems like a natural thing for me.
No, bless you. No, you're a kind man. Yeah. Okay. So the positive side of human drivers when they are fulfilled.
Me first. Mm-hmm. How's that?
Interesting. You pick up the negative and then we will look at that. Okay, so I got all tied up. Okay, so all tied up generally means that we get so wrapped up in, we feel that we are restricting ourselves. So the positive side actually should not tie us down. It should actually help us be more open in our energy field to be able to contribute towards others. So we should not be looking at the emotional drivers as a negative need. Perhaps it's coming from a conditioning of the mind where it says, I should not have needs. I should be able to give others. And for all you know, maybe this is something that I need to keep in mind, that, I should be giving more and not feel that my emotional needs should tie me down. What has yours come up?
Well, my card said very plainly, the sun.
Okay.
And that could have many connotations. We look at the sun as a natural giver of life on earth. However, if we were to look at it negatively, how would it be expressed?
Well, again, there's so much to do. I'm really working hard under the sun, that kind of an energy where, I really have to work hard. That's how I'm seeing it, if I have to look at it negatively.
Right. So, yeah. So for every positive, too much of energy that goes into a positive can turn out as a negative.
Yes, absolutely. Just like how on the positive level, this has come up it has a hint of all tied up. And perhaps we have to understand, and this is a message to all of us, myself, you, as well as to the audience, that we should not look down upon our human needs. After all, we are here to have human needs fulfilled and growth on a spiritual level, but they both can come together.
Right.
What do you feel, Tony?
Yeah. And I think that's perfectly fine. We have to live with the fact that some days are diamonds, some days are stones.
Yes, yeah,
and it all depends on our thought process. It all depends on our perspective on life and our own self-awareness, how we wish to interpret the environment around us.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So watch us carry out another role play. And this is on a different level. This is between a manager and an employee. So it's in a workplace. And we would love to hear what you feel is the emotional driver that is, or the human driver that is at play here. Okay. Tony, are you being the manager?
Yeah.
Let me give him a little bit of significance here. Okay. So as an employee, I go, sir, I have a great idea on how we can develop our business. I have come up with a plan. We can improve the operations around it. I actually created a report and I've actually emailed it to you. But if you feel you want more understanding around it, I'm happy to, make some time and we can have a meeting. You just let me know when you're ready. And this will be great for our business.
Did I ask for it? What's different from your report that we don't already have from the AI report that's been generated about the business? Anyway, I have plenty enough on my plate already. Why don't you just leave it with me and we'll talk about it later?
Okay, sir. Okay.
So, what do you think? Give it a shot. Yeah. What were the emotional drivers that actually came out in this little bit of role play?
So while you are sharing the emotional drivers that were at play between the manager and the employee, I want to ask you a question, Tony. How you mentioned AI as a manager, so that kind of stirred up my thought process. How is AI affecting these human drivers or these human needs and motivators?
Well, the effect of artificial intelligence in the world today is that it's been a huge catalyst for change. Change is being accelerated tremendously, and AI can provide us with tools to what's the right word over here, to help progress. But what AI cannot do is understand the human psyche, understand the need for our human interconnectedness, and tell me, can AI sort out conflict? So in the workplace, this buzzword of conflict management, AI can't sort that out.
No.
So the more human awareness that we have, the more we are aware of our own higher consciousness, the better off we are.
So we can steer healthier environments within us and have a better synergy working with AI also. So we did have some interaction from the audience. Contribution and significance, spot on. So the contributory human driver was coming from the employee. He was overly excited and he wanted significance. And the manager, of course, was?
The manager was also being significant in the fact that, he was trying to impress that, listen, man, I've got too much of, work on my plate and, I just can't cope with this right now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if we had to just read into some of the body language. The manager was not trying to be dominantly significant. He was trying to play it down a bit.
But also his certainty aspect was being threatened by AI. So you could tell that there is an underlying irritation in the manager that as does we have enough on plate, that the stability that we have in the business is being disturbed by AI. And now you're bringing me some new suggestions on making more growth in a different realm. So the manager was clearly not happy with the uncertainty that AI was bringing for him. So I think someone else did identify the contribution and significance for the employee, was unsure of the manager, which hopefully we have clarified here now. So as we have mentioned before, please share your thoughts, your perspectives with us. We will be summarizing this live as well as some more of your feedback on our blog later on. But is there anything else you want to say, Tony?
Well, I just want to say that, multiple emotional drivers can come into play in concurrence, not necessarily in an isolated perspective. So one or the other can reflect at the same time. And I also wanted to, just go back while we spoke a lot about the love and connection, and Vandan already mentioned it with the manager. Certainty and uncertainty can play a huge role in relationship building.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is in personal relationships as well as in and workplace and everything. Yeah. Okay. Is there any other question that's come up, Tony?
No, I think that was pretty much the end of it. And I'd just like to say thank you very much for joining in, and we really enjoyed this session. We look forward to some more interaction from you all next, and better poll results, of course.
No, so we really, I don't know whether it was evident in our stories as well as in what we were doing at live. This is a topic that's very close to our heart. Tony and me discussed this over and over again, and it has really helped us not only in understanding each other, but also in really helping our sharing through graceful reflections. So we have a beautiful workshop. If you want to personalize emotional drivers or human drivers for yourself, we have a beautiful workshop. So if you feel you want more information around it, please reach out to us and we would be happy to share that with you. But otherwise, we are going to be live back on the 4th of May, the first Sunday of the month of May. Yay, May is here. And we have something that is coming through. Let's read here. Thank you so much. Appreciate your wonderful words. There's a comment that says these lives are definitely contributing to growth. Thank you. And yes, we look forward to more interaction with all of you through our lives and through the blog and in all the channels that are open to being with you all. Thank you again.
Yeah, thanks again.